So as we have understood about the static friction, now comes to sliding friction. So what is sliding friction here? That the static friction is now the position of the mountain. See the earlier example that we have discussed of the rock and the mountain. Now that rock, if it is sliding on the mountain, okay, so the sliding is the frictional force of an object when an object is moving over the surface. Okay, it is going to be slide and it is in kinetic motion. Kinetic means that something is moving now. Okay, kinetic means that something is in motion now, moving, and static means that something is at rest position. So kinetic is actually the moving condition. If something is going to be start moving, that is actually a sliding, or we can say kinetic friction. Okay, so here as you can see the example that children is sliding over the slide here, and this is a snow skiing. Okay, this is very favorite sport of mine also, and some students also like it. Okay, so here what is the sliding friction in this case? The surface of this slide and this snow is going to be having a frictional force, and that frictional force is overcome by the external force, because now it is not in rest position, it is going to be move, it starts moving. That is why we are calling it as sliding friction, because the surface is sliding over the other and there is a frictional force, but that frictional force is actually less than the other one. Okay, that static one. That is why it was not moving here and it is now moving, start moving in this case. As we have discussed that the static friction is more than compared to the sliding friction. Okay, so this question always comes in exams, that which is smaller, whether it is static or sliding. So because students, sliding friction is smaller than the static. Why? Because in this kind of friction, the body is in motion, that the holding position of any surface is not that much more that it could make it at rest position. Okay, it always slides on the surface. Okay, so if something is going to be slide, that means now the external force, whether it is gravity, whether it is some push, any kind of force is more compared to the hold between these two. If the hold is more, then it will not move, it will be at rest position then. But because it is now start moving, that means this rest or holding position is not much more greater now. Okay, some external force is working on it, that means it starts moving. So here also frictional force work, but because motion is in direction, so frictional force, it will be in other direction. Why we can say that friction is already here, now still a friction is working here? Why we are saying this? Because this box is not going to move for infinite direction, like infinitely it is not going to move, continuously it not going to move, it may stop sometimes. Okay, any time when the gravitational or any external force stop working, okay, then only this box will stop automatically because of this frictional, and that frictional is again now the sliding friction get converted into static and it again hold it in rest position. Okay, so some example here which will lead you to know that the static friction is more compared to the sliding friction is like when you start moving a car. Okay, when the car is at rest position, it is not moving right now. So you need to apply a force here, and that force is actually a more. And if actually a car starts moving now, okay, once you applied a force and now it is going to start moving, not automatically because of your own force, it starts moving. Okay, now see, if you are going to apply like this, now it will be easier for you to shift it like in the direction you are moving it. Okay, earlier when it is at rest position, it was very hard to move it and you need to apply some extra force. But now because now it is starting moving because of your force only, it would be easier for you to move it now. So this is the best example, as you can see, that the sliding friction is actually smaller than the static friction.